Hello there. This is Alex from House of Bards, the podcast you are presumably hoping to listen to today. Sometimes at House of Bards things do not go correctly. Sometimes we have technical difficulties that mean that recording of an episode was prevented or had some kind of problem. In this particular case, the software that I used to record the episode we were going to upload this week didn't record anything at all. We didn't really have time to re-record the episode, so please be aware that we have taken steps to ensure that even if this problem does happen again, it won't affect our ability to produce further episodes of the podcast. And with that in mind, I present to you this out-of-sequence collection of funny and occasionally interesting excerpts from previous episodes that didn't quite make the cut the first time round. Thank you for listening, and I hope that we will see you next week for an actual proper episode.
For all the Americans listening, please do use that term if you see it used. Like, I see a lot of people shorten it to North Island. Like, no, it's not a geographic distinction, it's an actual separate country. Like, that's just what it's called. And there's a lot of politics involved in there about whether or not that's the thing, but, like, legally it is a separate country.
I mean, there's that, dragon in Dragonheart that voiced by Sean Connery, is it?
I believe the dragon in Dragonheart is indeed voiced by Sean Connery, but I haven't seen the film, so don't quote me on that.
No, I don't think he would fuck a human, right? Because that would be wrong. He's a dragon.
I haven't seen that film, so I am not in a position to make a judgment on whether an animated dragon voiced by Sean Connery would fuck a human. That's not, I believe, a question that we can set out to answer on this podcast.
If you have any answers to this question, please send them.
Please do not fill.
All
right, yes, specifically send these theories to Beth's Twitter. Do not fill my Twitter, Tumblr, or email with your theories about who the dragon from Dragonheart would fuck.
I mean, probably the human dude. Like, they had a thing going on.
No.
Remember to send your theories about who the dragon.
No. Specifically send those theories to Beth. I have never seen that film, and I do not care who the dragon would fuck. Well, no, it's not that I don't care, it's that I negative care. I very much do not want to hear your theories about who the dragon would fuck.
Yeah. I mean, you have stuff like, for example, Death Note, where, Light Yagami is outright evil. It happens slowly, but he starts pretty messed up, and then he just goes very evil, which technically makes L the good guy, but even L is a bit of a knob. I mean, there aren't really any likable characters in Death Note, and it's awful. But, it's a thing. And Doctor Doom...
There's Beth's review of L from Death Note.
Yeah.
Bit of a knob. We discussed alignments. I think briefly we touched upon them, about how they're not always accurate, but they are a good indicator of how your character can behave. And you can distill them all down to basic character traits, neutral evil, dirty, rotten, cowardly bastard. Well, the thing I did about, because I have the Dragon Triumvirate, who are a concept.
Yeah.
And to me, they are the three forms of evil. And the thing I always thought about neutral evil is that neutral evil is quite a lot of things.
It is, yeah.
The way I exemplified it was warlords. And that's why Jakarax, the blood dragon, is like... Because they're not lawful because they don't really recognize laws and rules.
Yeah, but
they're not chaotic because they do actually have, a mission plan. Yeah. So to me, it's warlords and conquerors and that kind of thing, those are neutral evil.
Yeah, neutral evil, not necessarily always you have to be a warlord or a conqueror, but you are
not necessarily.
Primarily you're self-serving. Yeah. Which is, you're not, you don't have this code of honor like a lawful character would, but you don't have this...
Well, I don't know if lawful characters necessarily have codes of honor. They just generally have codes that govern their behavior.
Yeah.
So I think a neutral character is going to be more, you have a given goal,
Yeah.
And you are going to do quite a lot of things to achieve that goal. Whereas
Yeah.
a chaotic character would not really have a goal so much as a sort of like
Yeah.
driving force.
Chaotic
very, very
characters
vague.
are about their own freedoms. Lawful characters are about
Their own
upper bracket,
responsibilities.
about their mission statement essentially. Neutral characters, they're somewhere in between, but neutral evil characters do tend to be a bit cowardly when they're on a team of people because they're like, I don't want to die, you know. They're the ones who.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
I mean, like, depending on the lawful evil character that you play, that can also be the case.
Absolutely, yeah, no, yeah.
The joke is always that if you want an example of how a character can be lawful evil, look at lawyers.
Yeah.
Which is, or politicians,
Yeah.
which is an old joke, but it's that kind of person. Generally, lawful evil characters will exist within a lawful framework and just happen to game that framework a lot within its bounds for their, for their own benefit.
Yeah.
And that's the best. I think that's one of the best ways to start off a lawful evil character because then you know where you stand with what they're actually doing.
Yeah.
Whereas a neutral evil character isn't just going to go completely lol random, but they're probably not going to pay a huge amount of attention to rules and codes that are inconvenient to them.
Yeah. But at the same time, they're not just going to murder senselessly.
No.
If they have a goal and they will do the things they need that are necessary to achieve their goal.
Yeah, which is why I think that like warlords and things are so obviously neutral evil in that they evidently are not lawful because they will just march into your country and take it over whether your laws say they can do that or not. But they're not chaotic because they do actually have like a defined goal that they are trying to reach in the most convenient way.
Now, chaotic evil, otherwise known as the edgy alignment, they don't necessarily always have to be about lol random. But it's
not necessarily, but they're always... Nolan Batman's Joker is chaotic evil.
Yeah.
You've heard that 100 times before, I'm sure, all of you. Yeah. But he is, and if I'm honest, off the top of my head, he is probably the best, like, actual portrayal of a properly chaotic evil character.
Yeah.
In a semi-serious production. The problem with chaotic evil characters is that quite a lot of them either have to slip into rather dodgy, like, mental health stigmatizing territory, or are basically evil for evil's sake. They can be done legitimately, but it is a bit more difficult than... I think of those three, neutral evil characters are probably the easiest to portray, because as long as you have a reason why they are doing the evil thing, they will just do it. And they don't require a huge amount of input from you to keep them on their chaotic or lawful track.
Going to the neutral zone, you have lawful neutral, which is you aren't that concerned about whether, you're in between good and evil, and you will do the lawful, like if one of your teammates does something illegal, it doesn't matter whether you're friends, you're going to turn them into the guards, for example.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be as extreme as that. It can be, It can sometimes be, like, the thing people don't like about lawful, we are talking about lawful good characters, right?
Lawful neutral.
Lawful neutral characters. Lawful neutral characters, I think... They also fit in this, lawful neutral characters tend to acknowledge that the codes and laws that they follow are flawed, but they basically don't have a better suggestion.
Yeah.
So they will follow that code because it's what they have as a way of understanding what should be done.
Anybody who's played Dragon Age 2, this is Aveline. She's lawful neutral. Sometimes lawful good. Lawful neutral, Aveline.
I am not sure that off the top of my head I have an example. I suppose that Bastila Shan is kind of lawful neutral.
Yeah.
In the sense that she's not always the nicest person, but she tends to try and stick to the Jedi code.
Yes, absolutely, yeah.
I mean, obviously, like, trying to apply that kind of system to Star Wars is a problem in itself, because Star Wars already has a binarized morality system and would rather you didn't mess with it.
Yeah.
But that's the kind of thing.
But, lawful neutral, it's technically Judge Dredd counts. I think we all know who Judge Dredd is.
Well, I think, like, Judge Dredd has to be lawful neutral just because you can go through everything else and decide he isn't those things.
Yeah.
It's like he doesn't immediately stand out as lawful neutral, but once you've gone all the way around, like, lawful good to lawful evil all the way around the wheel, you're like, I guess this guy is lawful neutral.
Yeah.
And then we
I
have
am the law
lawful
and all
good,
that.
which is paladins, basically, but it's Superman. With great power comes great responsibility,
See, I would expand
which
quite
is a
lot of
Spider-Man
that.
quote.
That is. God, Beth, I brought you onto this podcast specifically because of your experience with comic opinions
I know.
and
Well, no.
your big
See,
comic fandom.
here's the thing. Spider-Man's neutral good, but he has that quote, which is the lawful good quote, which is with great power comes great responsibility.
So what you're saying is Uncle Ben died for nothing.
Yes.
But no, I think like lawful good is paladins, certainly,
Yeah.
like traditional paladins. But
Yes.
I think if you want a realistic way to play lawful good, Tumblr is lawful good.
Yeah.
Because lawful
Is
good...
it?
No, really, because stay with me on this.
Okay.
Lawful good is when you have this set of rules that you
Yeah.
codify about what has to happen in order to be a good person.
Right.
And because you either don't understand or because of complications therein don't want to think about the inherent fluidity of goodness as a concept, you see that set of rules as, if I enforce this as a set of rules, I'll catch enough goodness. It'll be good enough.
Yeah.
And I think that is a way to play a lawful good character if you're like, they know, kind of like a lawful neutral character, that they know that the system isn't perfect.
Yeah.
They're just really afraid that if they allow for like more fluid concept of goodness, they will be letting in too much evil to be efficient.
Yeah.
And generally, to those characters, the idea of being fundamentally good is really, really important. That is generally the kind of character, like, if you're going to play a lawful good character that way, they will quite often... They'll be an inherently good person in that they want to be good, but they won't do that very naturalistically.
Yeah.
So they will generally be lawful good because they've found a system that works for them to validate themselves, themselves about being a good person.
Yeah.
And I think that's not the only way to play a lawful good character, but it is an alternative way if you don't want to just go into I am the asshole paladin cleric whatever.
Yeah. Speaking of naturally good people, neutral good, these are people who they're good people, but they're not necessarily they're in between. Again, chaos and law, neutral, that's in between.
Well, in contrast to neutral evil people,
yeah.
Neutral good people they have a goal.
Yeah.
That goal is generally a good thing to do.
Yeah.
And a neutral good person is going to... See, the thing is, like, it's very easy to see the neutral good person as, like, the best kind of good person.
Yeah.
But
they're not all, not always.
If you see them as, like, the opposite reflection of the neutral evil person, you will quite quickly realize that they're not.
Yeah.
Because...
They don't, like, neutral
like,
good characters don't have to care about the law at all.
But also,
Harry
like,
Potter
the
didn't,
lawful
he's
good
neutral
character...
good.
The lawful good character can cause problems when their adherence to the law contradicts their attempt to do good.
Yeah.
But the neutral good character can do pretty much the same thing when their devotion to the concept that they see as good contradicts other actual good things.
Yeah.
Like, neutral good characters will try and do what they think is best and loving and other... What's the philosophy called? There's a philosophical school of thought about this, but they will they can at least do that at the expense of everything else.
Yeah.
Which is not really the same thing as lawful good, because it's not about a code. It's more about, I have to do this good thing.
Yeah.
And there are sacrifices that I am willing to make in the pursuit of doing that good thing because I believe in the inherent goodness of the good thing that other people might not agree with.
Yeah.
So I would not say that the neutral good character is the best kind of good character. I think there's a different kind.
Yeah. And then we have chaotic good characters, which is the best alignment, obviously.
Quite evidently.
It is. Everybody loves chaotic good. Everybody should play chaotic good character
entirely
at least
sure
once.
that you are saying this completely based on your own opinions and not the fact that Jay is chaotic good.
No, this is my own opinions, but it's chaotic good characters are about their own freedom, but they're not so entwined in their selfishness to be bad or evil or just neutral. They care about doing good.
In contrast to the other two kinds of characters that I mentioned, chaotic good characters might be chaotic good specifically to avoid being the archetypes of lawful good or neutral good characters that I mentioned.
Absolutely no, yeah.
Chaotic good characters reserve the right to change their mind on anything at any moment in case
Absolutely.
it's doing something that they don't like and they don't want to be doing.
Yeah. Play chaotic good. Best alignment. Then we have chaotic neutral, which I guess is always known as the weird alignment, but I think that's unfair.
Chaotic neutral has received a lot of hate for being basically the cop-out alignment for people who think alignment is a waste of time.
Yeah.
And it can be, but it's not
Yeah.
always.
No.
Chaotic neutral people tend to be incredibly self-serving, but also a bit scatterbrained. They don't really know... They don't really have a long-term plan about what they want. I'm trying to think of, like, what would be a character who is definitely chaotic neutral.
Captain Jack Sparrow.
Yes, actually. I think Captain Jack Sparrow is probably a very good example of a chaotic neutral character. He's definitely chaotic, and his motivations seem to be both short-lived and largely his own. So yes, I think he is a chaotic neutral character. And admittedly, that doesn't do a huge amount to allay the fact that a lot of people are going to say that it's the weird.
Because he's a weird character.
For people who don't really want to engage with alignment as a concept, but like, he's a character.
Yeah.
He has. I mean, in the first Pirates of the Caribbean film, maybe he strays into chaotic good sometimes because he does have those principles, if you remember.
Yeah. But that's
that are good things. But then again, he also has a number of principles that are not necessarily good things at all. So
like piracy.
That is one of the things. Yes. Yeah. And
stealing
also
is bad.
Being a little bit lecherous, not a huge amount, but a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that is entirely the case. Is that all of them?
There's just neutral, but neutral's just like...
True neutral is like... It used to be a rule that druids always had to be true neutral because they were always devoted to the forest and nothing else. I think in the sense of what I've said about neutral good and neutral evil, I would say true neutral characters are the same thing. It's just that the thing that they are devoted to can be either beneficial or bad for everyone around them, and they will be satisfied with either result, so long as the goal is achieved. Yeah. So they're very devoted to that.
Alignments are always good for just deciding how a character should behave. You don't have to stick to them strongly, but they are a good guideline of, what are my principles? Are they freedom? Are they my own goals and my own ambitions? Are they the law? Are they just me and my circle of friends? And that's completely fine.